Welcome back, Reasonauts. If this is your first time listening to Human Velocity X, welcome and hope you return here. My name isn't important, the message is, and every day is awesome. We just have to get through it. And before we begin, if these conversations resonate with you, subscribe and stay with us each week. Share it with somebody who's been carrying questions quietly. And if you ever want to continue the conversation, you can find us on Facebook too. Not for hype, not for noise, just to keep the signal moving forward for the next person trying to understand why they've always felt different. Now, I want you to think about something. How many times in your life have you looked around at everyone else and wondered how pretending seemed so easy for them? How they stayed in conversations that felt fake, laughed at things they didn't actually believe were funny, agreed with things their spirit clearly disagreed with, and somehow kept moving like nothing inside them reacted. But you always felt it. There's a certain kind of exhaustion that has nothing to do with work, nothing to do with sleep, nothing to do with physical effort. It comes from performing, from pretending you're okay when your nervous system has been signaling otherwise for hours. Pretending you agree while something deep inside you keeps quietly resisting. Pretending you enjoy environments that slowly drain the life out of you. Pretending conversations matter when everybody involved is mostly exchanging roles instead of reality. And if you're being honest, you've tried to do it before. Most aware people have. You walk into a gathering, a workplace, a family dinner, a social event, and within minutes, you can already feel the structure of the room. Not just the people, the roles, the loud one, the agreeable one, the successful one, the wounded one, pretending confidence loud enough that nobody notices the fracture underneath. The person trying too hard to be liked. The one performing intelligence, the one performing happiness, the one performing control. And the strange part is, most people don't consciously realize they're doing it. The performance became automatic, like social survival turned into muscle memory. Smile here, laugh here, agree here, hide this, suppress that. Don't make people uncomfortable. Keep the atmosphere moving. And maybe that's why it always felt strange to you. Not because you believed you were above anyone, not because you thought you were better, but because something inside you could never fully merge with the performance itself. Part of you kept noticing the distance between people and the characters they were playing. And over time, that becomes exhausting. Because performing a version of yourself, the environment accepts takes energy. Especially when your nervous system keeps whispering, this isn't fully real. And the deeper your awareness becomes, the harder it gets to survive entirely through performance without slowly feeling disconnected from yourself. You felt this moment before. Almost everybody who becomes deeply aware hits this moment eventually, the moment you realize. Everyone else seems comfortable pretending, and something inside you can't fully do it anymore. Maybe it happened at work, a meeting where everybody nodded along to something that clearly made no sense. Maybe it happened at school, repeating ideas people memorized but never actually questioned. Maybe it happened at church, hearing love preached through tones filled with fear, judgment, or performance. Maybe it happened around family, a conversation everybody agreed to maintain because telling the truth would disrupt the structure holding the room together. And in that moment, something subtle happens inside you. Someone says something you know isn't true, or maybe not fully true. Maybe incomplete, maybe performative, maybe strategically edited, and somehow, the entire room keeps moving like reality didn't just fracture a little, like nobody noticed the contradiction, but you did. And instantly, your body responds, not with anger, not with superiority, not because you want conflict. Your nervous system simply struggles to cooperate with distortion. That's the part people misunderstand. Aware people are not always trying to cause problems. Most of the time, they're trying to internally reconcile what everybody else agreed to ignore. And sometimes, you don't even say anything. You stay completely silent, you nod politely, you let the conversation continue, you allow the moment to pass externally, but internally, part of you already left the room. Because once awareness notices mismatch, it becomes incredibly difficult to participate naturally, like nothing happened. That's why pretending becomes exhausting. Your nervous system keeps trying to align three separate realities at once: what's being said, what's being shown, and what's actually real underneath it. And when those realities stop matching, friction appears, not metaphorically, physiologically. Your body feels it, your breathing changes, your energy shifts, your nervous system tightens, because human beings are not designed to thrive inside prolonged contradiction. The body keeps searching for coherence, and when coherence disappears, something inside you starts quietly pulling away from the performance. Here's something strange about the world. Something people rarely say out loud. Most social systems quietly reward performance, not truth, not coherence. Performance. Smile correctly. Say the expected thing. Match the emotional tone of the group. Mirror the atmosphere. Keep the rhythm moving. Don't make the room uncomfortable. Don't question the ritual everybody agreed to participate in. And if you do, people get uncomfortable fast, not always angry, just unsettled. Because authenticity changes atmospheres immediately. You ever notice how one deeply honest person can shift an entire room? Not even aggressive honesty, just realness. A person speaking plainly, a person dropping the performance, a person admitting something vulnerable, a person refusing to fake enthusiasm, a person calmly saying, "Honestly, I don't think I believe that anymore." And suddenly, the energy changes. People look down, laugh nervously, change the subject, get defensive, become emotionally restless. Why? Because honesty creates comparison instantly. The moment somebody becomes real, everyone else becomes aware of the character they're currently playing, and most people don't consciously know how to handle that feeling. So the nervous system reacts defensively, not necessarily because truth is wrong, but because performance was helping stabilize the room. Even unhealthy stability still feels safer to many people than uncertainty. That's why authenticity often gets punished indirectly, not through logic, through atmosphere. People pull away, act uncomfortable, call you too intense, say you're killing the vibe, treat honesty like disruption instead of alignment. And most of the time, they don't even realize they're doing it. It's subconscious protection. Because social systems often survive through silent agreements. Agreements about what gets acknowledged, and what gets ignored, what gets spoken, and what gets buried beneath politeness. And maybe that's why you always felt slightly outside the system, not disconnected from humanity, not incapable of connection, just unable to fully merge with collective pretending for long periods of time, without feeling yourself slowly disappear underneath it. But let's be honest about something. This creates a real tension inside you, a deep one. Because despite everything you notice, despite the awareness, despite the exhaustion from performance, part of you still wants belonging. You still want connection. You still want ease. You still want moments where your nervous system can finally rest around other people. You want to laugh naturally, speak freely, exist without scanning the room constantly for contradiction, pressure, or hidden emotional weight. You want relationships that don't feel like work, and that desire is human. But then there's the other side of you. The side that already noticed too much, the side that can feel mismatch immediately, the side that cannot unknow what it feels. And now you're caught between two realities at once, too aware to fully participate in pretending anymore, but still deeply human enough to crave closeness. And honestly, that combination can become painful, because awareness without belonging quietly turns into loneliness over time. Not dramatic loneliness, not always physical isolation, Sometimes you can feel lonely in a room full of people because loneliness is not always the absence of humans. Sometimes it's the absence of coherence, the absence of feeling emotionally real with the people around you, and a lot of people carry that feeling silently for years. They start wondering, why do I feel disconnected? Why do social situations exhaust me? Why do I leave certain conversations feeling emptier instead of fuller? And eventually, many people begin assuming something must be wrong with them, that maybe they're too sensitive, too emotional, too observant, too difficult, too deep. But maybe the issue was never that you were broken. Maybe your nervous system simply stopped tolerating what your deeper self knew wasn't real anymore. Maybe your exhaustion wasn't weakness, maybe it was signal. Maybe the loneliness wasn't proof you failed socially. Maybe it was the consequence of outgrowing environments that required you to abandon yourself in order to belong. And once the spirit recognizes that, pretending starts feeling heavier than solitude. And honestly, modern life made all of this harder, a lot harder. Because performance used to have limits. People performed at work, at school, at church, at social gatherings. Then they went home and became human again. But now, performance follows people everywhere, online, at work, in relationships, through photos, through branding, through curated identities, through carefully edited versions of emotional life. People are no longer just living experiences, they're packaging them for observation. And after a while, some people genuinely forget where the performance ends and the real self begins, that becomes loud to someone like you. Because your awareness keeps noticing the gap between projection and reality. You see exhaustion hiding behind confidence, loneliness hiding behind popularity, fear hiding behind arrogance, sadness hiding behind perfection. You notice when smiles look practiced. You notice when motivation sounds hollow. You notice when someone's entire identity feels constructed around being perceived instead of actually being known. And the more spectacle the world creates, the harder authenticity becomes to maintain. Because performance gets rewarded now, visibility gets rewarded, reaction gets rewarded, perception becomes currency. So people slowly start adapting themselves toward what receives attention, instead of what feels internally true. And maybe the strangest part is this: a person can become widely seen, while simultaneously becoming deeply disconnected from themselves. You've noticed that, even if you never fully had words for it before. You can feel when somebody is managing an image instead of inhabiting a life, and over time, that awareness changes how you move through the world. Because eventually, you realize something important. Some people are no longer living. They're managing perception constantly, managing optics, managing reactions, managing approval, managing algorithms, managing emotional branding. And deep down, something inside you knew. You didn't want to disappear into that. You didn't want your entire existence to become a performance designed for endless observation. You wanted something real, something coherent, something that still existed, even when nobody was watching. There's another reason. Pretending became so normal in the world, because the world often rewards it, not always consciously, not always maliciously, but structurally. A lot of environments do not reward authenticity first, they reward predictability, consistency, compliance, social smoothness. Say the correct thing, dress the correct way, mirror the emotional atmosphere, maintain the expected role. Don't disrupt the machine. And if you learn how to perform well enough, the system often hands out rewards, approval, status, promotion, attention, visibility, belonging, and over time, that quietly teaches people something dangerous. Who I appear to be matters more than who I actually am. That lesson changes people, slowly, subtly, because eventually, some people become so practiced at managing perception. They lose contact with the person underneath the performance entirely, and the scary part is, many don't even realize it happened. They become fluent in masks: the professional mask, the relationship mask, the social mask, the online mask, the survival mask. Different personalities for different rooms, different emotional calibrations for different audiences. And honestly, some of those masks were necessary at first. That's the part people overlook. Children adapt to survive emotionally. A child learns quickly what emotions get rejected, what honesty creates danger, what personality traits receive affection, what version of themselves creates belonging. So they adapt, not because they're fake, because human beings are relational creatures. We survive through connection. We learn safety through acceptance. But eventually, adaptation can quietly become imprisonment, especially when the role survives longer than the danger that created it. And maybe that's why so many adults feel strangely disconnected from themselves now, because they became incredibly skilled at functioning, while slowly losing contact with who was functioning underneath it all. You've probably noticed this before. People who look successful, but internally feel hollow. People surrounded by attention, but starving for sincerity. People performing confidence constantly, while privately exhausted from maintaining the image. And that kind of existence creates noise internally too, because maintaining a false self requires constant psychological energy, constant monitoring, constant adjustment, constant emotional editing, and your awareness feels that tension immediately. That's why certain people drain you quickly. Not because you hate them, not because you think you're above them. Your nervous system can simply feel how much effort it takes for them to maintain the projection. And deep down, part of you probably always knew you couldn't survive like that forever. Not without disappearing from yourself, piece by piece. You know something else that's interesting? Children often notice these things first, long before adulthood, long before psychology terms, long before they have language for emotional complexity, before the world teaches them to disconnect from themselves. Kids are incredibly aware of atmosphere. They walk into rooms and feel tension immediately. They know when parents are angry, even when nobody's yelling. They know when smiles are fake, when silence feels dangerous, when safety disappears from the room, when love suddenly feels conditional. And the important part is this: most children cannot explain what they're sensing logically yet, but their nervous systems already know. The body notices atmosphere before the mind creates language for it. That's why children adapt so quickly. Some become quiet observers, some become emotional caretakers, some become comedians because humor diffuses tension. Some become perfectionists because perfection feels safer than criticism. Some become invisible. Some become hyper-aware of everybody else's emotions while disconnecting from their own. Not because they were weak, because they adapted to environments. They were trying to emotionally survive, and over time, those adaptations stop feeling temporary. They become identity. A child who learned that honesty created danger may grow into an adult who struggles to express truth. A child who learned that approval created safety may become a chronic performer. A child who learned that vulnerability led to pain may become emotionally unreadable. And eventually, many people start mistaking survival strategies for personality. That realization can shake people deeply, because at some point, you begin asking questions that cut beneath identity itself. What parts of me are actually mine? What parts were built just to survive environments? What parts of my personality are authentic? And what parts are adaptation? That's not an easy realization, because it forces you to look at yourself honestly, not cruelly, not judgmentally, honestly. And honesty, even painful honesty, is still quieter than living divided against yourself forever. Because eventually, the exhaustion of performing becomes heavier than the discomfort of healing. But staying real has a cost too. People don't always understand what authenticity looks like when it's protecting itself. Sometimes they misunderstand you completely. They think you're distant, difficult, too serious, too quiet, too intense, too guarded, when really, you're just trying not to betray yourself anymore, to fit inside environments that require fragmentation to survive. That's the exhausting part, not awareness itself. The pressure to split yourself apart socially, to become smaller, softer, more agreeable, more performative, more digestible. And honestly, a lot of you became exhausted because you kept trying anyway, trying to shrink your real reactions, trying to tolerate conversations your nervous system was rejecting in real time. trying to stay emotionally present in environments that internally felt empty, trying to laugh when part of you felt disconnected, trying to become easier for people to consume. And that kind of self-abandonment wears people down slowly. Because your body notices. Even when your mind rationalizes it, your nervous system knows when you are overriding yourself for acceptance. Your body knows when your yes isn't fully honest. The energy knows when you're forcing connection. And eventually, something inside aware people changes, not dramatically, not explosively, quietly. A subtle internal break happens. You stop forcing smiles as often. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop performing enthusiasm for environments that drain you. You stop chasing approval from every room you enter. You stop needing universal acceptance to feel valid. And from the outside, some people misread that shift. They think you became colder, more detached, less social. But that's not always true. Sometimes what they're witnessing is a person becoming less willing to abandon themselves for belonging. Because eventually, pretending becomes heavier than solitude. And once a person truly feels that, they start searching for fewer performances and more coherence, fewer audiences, more honesty, fewer masks, more breath. Because deep down, your spirit was never asking to dominate rooms. It was asking for permission to exist without splitting itself apart. But here's the beautiful part. You've also experienced the opposite, at least once. Maybe only briefly, but enough to know it was real. You've met people who made pretending unnecessary, people whose presence didn't require performance from you. No image management, no social choreography, no emotional guessing games, no carefully calculated personality adjustments, just presence. And the moment you encounter someone like that, your nervous system notices immediately, because suddenly, you're not monitoring yourself constantly. You're not filtering every word. You're not rehearsing responses internally. You're not trying to manage how you're being perceived every second. You're just there. And honestly, that feeling becomes unforgettable once you experience it, because real people are rare now, not perfect people, real people. People whose energy matches their words, people who say what they mean, people who don't hide behind constant performance, people who can hold honesty without turning it into warfare, people who don't require you to betray your own awareness just to remain connected to them. That kind of presence feels almost unnatural now, because the modern world trained people to expect masks first. So when coherence finally appears, the body reacts, your breathing changes, your shoulders loosen, your thoughts stop racing, because for once, your nervous system doesn't have to scan constantly for contradiction. That's why certain conversations feel healing, not because they magically solved your life, not because all your problems disappeared, but because for a moment, your system no longer had to defend itself from mismatch, no hidden tension, no emotional performance, no pressure to fragment yourself to maintain connection, just honesty, just presence, just two human beings existing without requiring distortion from one another. And maybe that's why those moments stay with you so deeply, because your body recognizes coherence as relief, not excitement, not spectacle, relief, the relief of finally being somewhere your spirit doesn't have to brace itself to survive. Let me ask you something, gently. Where in your life have you been pretending just to maintain connection? At work? In relationships? Around family? Online? Even with yourself? And deeper than that, what part of you is getting tired of carrying the performance? Because eventually, the mask becomes heavier than the rejection you feared. Here's what I think happened. Your awareness developed too honestly, not perfectly, not flawlessly, honestly. And because of that, you never fully learned how to disconnect from yourself the way some people do. A lot of people adapt early. They learn how to suppress discomfort, how to override intuition, how to become acceptable, how to survive environments through performance, through masking, through emotional editing. Not because they're evil, not because they're shallow, because belonging is powerful, especially for children. especially for people who once depended on approval for emotional safety. And over time, for many people, the performance becomes automatic, natural, so natural. They stop feeling the split entirely, but something in you kept trying to stay connected to what felt real. Even when it complicated your life, even when it made social situations harder, even when honesty isolated you sometimes, even when your nervous system felt exhausted from noticing contradiction constantly, part of you still kept searching for coherence underneath the noise. That's not weakness, that's integrity under pressure. And no, that doesn't mean you're always right. Awareness can still misread things. Pain can distort perception too. Not every feeling equals truth. Not every disagreement equals deception. And isolation by itself is not wisdom. But it does mean something important. Your system struggles to cooperate deeply with what feels false. And honestly, that's probably part of why you're here listening right now, because some part of you has spent your entire life searching for something difficult to explain. Not perfection, not constant happiness, not people who never fail. You were searching for coherence, sincerity, alignment, people whose words and energy actually match, conversations that feel real, spaces where your nervous system doesn't have to constantly defend itself from contradiction. And maybe that search was never weakness either. Maybe it was your spirit trying to find environments where it could finally stop splitting itself apart just to belong. Because deep down, you were never searching for a perfect world. You were searching for something real enough to finally let your nervous system rest. If you've spent most of your life feeling exhausted, trying to become who environments expected you to be, if you've always struggled to just play along when something inside you felt deeply off, if you've sat in rooms where everybody else seemed comfortable pretending, while your nervous system quietly tightened underneath the surface, if you've always felt like you could survive performance, but never fully belong inside it, there may be nothing wrong with you at all. Maybe your awareness simply refused to fully disconnect from reality. Maybe some part of you kept trying to stay coherent, even when the world rewarded fragmentation. Maybe your nervous system was never designed to split itself apart constantly just to maintain approval. And maybe that exhaustion you carried was never weakness. Maybe it was signal that your inner world was becoming too divided from the life you were performing externally. Because human beings can survive pretending for a while. Most people do. You can override intuition, suppress emotion, edit personality, perform stability, smile through disconnection, laugh through emptiness, function through fragmentation for a while. But eventually, something deeper begins pushing back. The soul starts asking to breathe again. Quietly at first, a feeling, a tension, an exhaustion you can't explain logically. A growing inability to tolerate environments that require you to abandon yourself repeatedly. And maybe that's where you are now. Not becoming someone entirely new, not inventing a different identity, just becoming harder to fake, harder to split apart, harder to disconnect from yourself for the comfort of environments that only accepted your performance. That's the shift, that's the pressure, that's the discomfort of becoming more real inside a world that often rewards performance over coherence. And yes, that path can feel lonely sometimes, but there's also something beautiful about it. Because eventually, you stop asking, how do I become acceptable? And you start asking, where can I remain whole? That question changes everything. That is the movement. That is the return. That is the reason on journey. Take a breath. Let the pressure fall off you for a second. If pretending has been exhausting you lately, maybe that exhaustion was never weakness. Maybe it was the part of you that refused to fully disconnect from yourself. Dedicated to those who spent years shrinking themselves to survive certain rooms. The ones who learned how to smile while internally disappearing. The ones who kept trying to belong inside environments their spirit never truly aligned with. And to those now realizing that authenticity may cost comfort, but performance eventually costs the self. If this episode resonated with you, subscribe and stay with us each week. Share it with someone who's tired of feeling alone in this experience. And if you want to continue the conversation, you can find us on Facebook too. Not for attention, not for algorithms, just to keep the signal moving for the people still wandering through the noise, trying to find themselves again. Next time, we step into something even deeper. What happens when you see the truth clearly, but choose silence anyway? Not because you're weak, because you understand what truth can do when a room isn't ready for it yet. Every day is awesome. We just have to get through it. I'll see you in episode 18.